Hello, it's another month, another Monday, and another chance to learn from our mistakes. It's October already, and we're more than a month into this 2021-2022 school year. Students are back in action, in person. We are masked and distanced as best as possible, and it feels great. So far, so good, right? Well, that's not the way teaching is it? So the reality is there's always mistakes to examine. If you're just joining in, this is year 4 or 5 of me examining some teaching mistakes throughout each month and a mindful tip on how to respond. Even through the excitement of being back in person and having that interaction, that back and forth with large group conversations, small group projects happening, through it all, there's always little things that go wrong. In fact, sometimes there's big things that go wrong. Other educators out there may be noticing the same thing. Our students, at least at the middle school level here, are needing reminders, sometimes constant reminders, on how to treat each other with kindness. Not only that, but how to focus, to stay focused, how to limit distractions, and a big one, how to have empathy. Eventually, we'll be able to look back and examine the impact, the true impact of at-home learning. When students were in their own home and there was no inhibitions. If you wanted to eat food, you went and got some food. If you had to go to the bathroom, of course, you had the bathroom available right there. And if you wanted to go on the internet, your phone, or any other web browser, you had it right there at your fingertips. There was no stopping you. Now back in the classroom, students are remembering and needing reminders on how to interact, how to have a debate without having an argument, how to listen first if somebody's making a point and not interrupt. Which brings me to my teaching mistake to focus on for this month. Lately, I've found myself almost nostalgic for pre-COVID conditions. And that's not really fair to the students that I'm teaching. I find myself wanting the past. Frustrated with having to do some lessons that I think are more immature for the grade level that I teach. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And I see that some of these lessons that I need to remind students on are very elementary. Simple things like how to walk in a hallway, how to sit in the desk, when we're up and moving, how to do that appropriately. Stuff like that. I need to back up and realize this is all part of education. This is part of my job. And this is part of bringing up a young generation to become leaders of the future world. Which brings me to my point. My mindfulness tip for this month is embrace change. This is something that I would tell my own students, my own family. We've got a new setup in the world. We've got a new setup for school, and we need to work with that setup. We need to do the best we possibly can in our current circumstances. This is a reminder to myself and, of course, any other educators out there, embrace change. There's nothing else we can do. We need to accept what's happening across the nation, across the world, do the best we possibly can, make adjustments, and live life accordingly. Now, nobody said that was going to be easy, but again, there's nothing else to do. In fact, to change is to live, and change only happens with challenge. So, to be challenged is to change, and to change is to live. Let's try and drop the comparison to previous years and a previous life setup and do the best we possibly can going forward. What I'll try and do in the YouTube description is make sure that I link in some thoughts on this very topic about social connection in particular. So be sure to check that out right after watching. All right, that's it for this month. I hope everyone out there is healthy and happy. And if you're not, you're on your way. I'll check back in November for another teaching mistake and a mindful tip on how to respond. Until then, thanks for tuning in.